Hello and welcome to How to Play Star Wars Galaxies Episode 11. We are going to look today at using lots and housing. I'm going to explain what lots are and how to use them, and also show you an example of how to place a house, and a little bit of explanation of exactly what you can do in a home. And then later on I'll also show, if I can, a few examples of some homes. Nothing specific, just showing a variety of what people can do. So, getting started here, what you want to do is you want to first go and find a deed for a house. Now, I went to the bazaar and I purchased a small house from the bazaar, and it cost about 20,000, a little more than they used to. Small houses used to go for about 10,000, not very much at all. But even 20,000, that's very reasonable. So you get your deed. And then you want to also make sure you're in a nice open area. So I found a spot that has plenty of open ground. And for a good reference point for yourself, you'll want to make sure on your radar that you are looking north. That you're, not your character necessarily, but that your screen is facing the north, because that will give you a good representation of when you're looking at laying it down, exactly knowing what you're looking at, because if you're facing a different direction, it flips the map around and stuff, and it gets kind of confusing if it's a populated area. So open up your inventory, double click on your deed, or right click and say use deed, and you'll get this. You'll get a little diagram kind of what your house looks like, and basically if you want to place your house, you'll have to have a green. It'll have to be lit up green for you to place it. If it turns red in any way, you cannot place it due to possibly a layer being there from a mission, or another house taking up part of the area, or just a hill being too hilly. You can't place a home on that rough terrain. If you want to place the house, you left click. If you want to rotate the house, you want to right click. Now you'll notice. Right now the house is actually facing north. That means the opening is facing north. So you want to consider that where your door is going to be, and that will help determine how you want to rotate it. So I'm going to right click this, and then right click it again, and then one more time. And then you can also move your mouse outside of the border, and you can go a little further beyond your character's line of sight. But that's all you can do. You can't go too far out. So I'm going to place this right next to this house. We're going to just make a little neighbor here. As soon as you do that, you'll see the little red lines and the poles sticking out, like it's calculating where the house is going to be. Once it's there, you'll get a waypoint built into your data pad for it. You'll see right here, small generic house. You'll also, it'll be in here. You can rename this so that you'll know exactly what this is. Let's see. Let's go ahead and go into the house real quick. Also, when you start off any house, my character's name is Albi, A-L-B-I, and her house instantly comes out being named as Albi's house. Whatever your name is, that's how it's going to show up. And when you go into a home, doors automatically open, unless they're set to private. But you're in here. Now, this is the structure management terminal. From here, you can control all assets of your home. So what you want to do is go in here and do the tilde key. Then you want to go to structure management. From here you can actually delete all items if you pretty much emptied it out and you just want to get rid of stuff. You can find lost items. Sometimes if you move items against a wall, sometimes they disappear. This is only with items that they're unique in their nature, where they're not necessarily a piece of furniture. They're like an effect of some sort or whatever. Sometimes those can get a little tricky. You can search, you can list all the items, you can change the privacy, you can declare residence, which is pretty much just used for player cities. Anytime you join a player city, you must declare residence so that city can count you as a citizen. You can only declare your residence in one city at a time. So if you declare here and then you go and change it to another city and declare somewhere else, then your residence gets totally changed to the new place. You can pack up the building. This is a nice feature they've added. You can basically pack up the entire home, and it goes into your data pad, and all of the items that you placed will stay where they are. You don't lose any information as far as where the items were or how they were placed or any of that. But the only downside is it will still withdraw maintenance from your home, which we'll go into this, as if that home is still being placed on a piece of property. So, but the difference is you can carry this home on your character and move it easier without having to. And back in the old days, you actually had to pull up every single item on your character, move those items to a new house, and then also pick the house up on its own. So this is a very nice feature too if you just simply want to move all your stuff. You can set the name. This is where you would actually change the naming of it. Do a series of commands and also some copy and pasting. Where if you want to do multiple lines for a home, or if you also want to do color or text, this is nice if you're trying to sell items, like if you're being a trader and you want to kind of advertise in a way. And then you have also destroy structure. We'll go into this too, and then status as a nice way to see all of your information on the house. And now here's maintenance. I need to explain maintenance a little bit because new players, I know starting off, they had a hard time grasping this sometimes. Maintenance is what your house needs to maintain itself from being destroyed. It's just like paying the electric bill, paying taxes, and all that stuff. That's kind of what this is the idea for this. This is also a form of a credit dump to force players to use up some of their cash. It doesn't cost very much really to maintain a home in this game. It's very cheap. If you'll notice here, you can actually, if you go to the status, you can see the maintenance rate on this house. This is a small house, 8 credits per hour. I mean, I had stuck in I think 1,000 before when I was testing this, and I pulled it back up, and I've now placed it back down. There's 200 credits in there. That pays for a day and 1 hour. So you can see how easily, and if you'll know, 200 credits, I mean, you can make thousands of credits in this game very quickly. It's not hard to actually make money, especially this amount of money. You want to make sure and keep this paid. Now, the trick to maintenance is some people used to think that you only paid a little bit and you sort of tried to keep the housing at 100%. Like right here, the condition. The reason this is flawed is because you can put a large amount of excess maintenance into the pool. I could put in here 1,000,000 credits if I wanted to. The downside to that is on most houses, there's only I think a couple houses you can do this. This doesn't actually apply to, but most housing, whatever credits you put into the house, those credits are stuck with that deed. You will not be able to pull them out. The only ones that are like that you can pull them out are like guild halls, and that's just because money can be put in by other guild members, so therefore it's a nice way of being able to pull your money out. So if you're concerned about that, an expensive guild hall may or may not be the route you would like to take. Pay what you can. You want to make sure. I like to do is to pay that like a month ahead. You want to make sure to put plenty of credits so that if you leave for a long time or don't get on the game for a week or two, because it happens. Real life can interfere a lot. You want to make sure and just to have plenty of maintenance. Some housing, when I've had plenty of cash on a character and I had a lot of things in that house I didn't want to lose, I would put a couple 100,000 credits into it, especially if it was a big home. And that helped to make sure, like, for well over a year, that house would stay in game with no problems. Now, the other catch to not having to do your maintenance is they put this thing in years ago where if your home comes down to 0 maintenance in the house, what it will do is start pulling at like 1,000 credits at a time, I think, from your bank. So you don't have to pull those credits in there, but it's just a nice thing to go ahead and put that in there, because let's say something happens and you end up spending a lot of money, and your cash actually goes down to almost 0, and then the bank starts pulling cash out of what you have to pay for your home. Now, housing also uses up lots. Lots in this game are what they use to determine what you can lay down on the physical land in this game. So, like, starting off, if you go to, I keep pushing the C command, push the C command to go to your character sheet, go to personal, and then you'll see right here this little thing that says lots remaining. Go all the way over and you'll see it says 8. Now, if that's only 8, because I have this small house down. Small houses count as 2 lots. When you have other houses, like medium houses, I think those still count as 2. They may also count as 4, I'm not sure. Large houses count as more. Guild halls count as 5. So, you kind of see the idea. But the benefit to laying down bigger homes is they give you more items that you can store in them. So, like if you look on this and see status, I can actually see that the number of items I have in the building is 0 and the maximum storage capacity is at 200. So that means I can lay down 200 items from my inventory into this home and store it there. It's really great because it's like more storage from the bank, from your inventory, all that stuff. If you go to like a guild hall that has 5 lots, you actually have 500 items of storage. So it's a really good trade-off, to use a bigger home for that. I could be wrong on the 500 items, but don't hold me to that. So that's kind of how lots work. Once you get this down to 0, that's it. Everything counts as lots as far as housing, harvesters, factories, those kinds of things. So just keep that in mind. And real quick, I'll show you the inside. You have a couple rooms in a small house, and that's about it. There's not a whole lot to it. Now this is a generic house. The housing, there's a lot of different types of housing. Any housing you see like this, that's sort of this gray stone, even this house over here in the distance, that's like a medium-sized house. These homes are generic homes. Generic homes can be placed on any planet that allows housing. So that means that you cannot play any houses on like Mustafar or Kashyyyk. Any other planet, if you want to, you can actually place a home there. Now these homes, since I'm on Tatooine, also have these Tatooine homes. Each set of planets has specific housing styles that you can place. Actually, set of planets like the planet and their moon can have can have the same type of house. So, for example, Tatooine and Locke can actually have Tatooine houses placed on them. I believe there's another type that can, but I don't remember some of those off the top of my head. It may be Dantooine. But each type of house has, I think, 2 or 3 types that they can be placed on. There's a Nabooian style housing they can place on. They have more like windows that you can't necessarily see through, and they do have a new feature, new housing. Windows can actually be put into the home from the start, and you can actually see, once you're in the home, you can see outside the house and actually see what's going on like outside. If someone walks by your window, you see it. From here, we're actually going to go and show you a few examples of some different homes and different types, and also just show you what's in them and show you what kind of things you can do. We're not going to go into an actual decorating type of tutorial here, because that can be its entirely own monster. So we'll touch on that later. But from here, let's cut and I'll show you some homes. Okay, and then after showing those examples, there was one last couple of things I wanted to show y'all. If you go to the mail, and then you see when you lay a house down, you'll get an email saying construction complete, and it will actually tell you in here how many lots you have left. It's just a nice way of letting you know really quick, like how many lots you have versus checking your character sheet. Now, let's say you laid the house down, you want to delete it. Always make sure you have plenty of maintenance in there. So I'm going to go ahead and pay a little extra, putting 1,000 just to make sure it's okay. Now, when you want to pull the house up and actually destroy it, there's no items in it, you don't care, you're just wanting the deed back. Let's go here, structure maintenance management, go to destroy structure, and you'll see as long as it says can redeed is yes, your condition is good, and your maintenance is good, hit yes. It tells you your structure will be redeeded. Then you will have to type in this randomly generated 6-digit code. So this one right here is 601993. Then press OK, and your house disappears. Now you'll check your inventory, your deeds back. Your maintenance that you had left in there is still intact. So if you put 10,000 credits in there, whatever it had to take out for destroying the structure, usually a few hundred credits, then you may have like 9,000 something left in there. So it's, it doesn't just destroy all the money you put into the home. And also too, when you come out, you might notice the head was kind of hovering in the air. It's a little glitch. You get stuck for just a few seconds, maybe 30 seconds, and then you're free to roam. And that's pretty much destroying a structure, and that's basically it. So hope you enjoyed this. Hope this was helpful in housing. Until next time, see you later.